Greetings, sophisticated intuition here. All right, y'all. I'm so glad to be back with you. It is the new season of my spiritual transformation journey. Today, we're going to be talking about distractions. Okay, my hand movement is a distraction. I know I speak with my hands. Okay, they say things about people like that, but whatever. So, happy new year to everyone. 2021 is here. We are in the second week, okay? And so it is for first fruits time, which what does that mean, right? That's about connecting and communing with the divine, and focusing your energies on your intentions for the year. Okay, so for me, I have always chosen to do like a fast for the new year. Some people do 21 Daniel fast. For me, nutrition wise, I can't do that anymore. I used to do that, but it really depletes me and I still got to go to work. So I did a 1 week. Okay, so in the first week, it was just no meat, just an increase of the fruits, vegetables, water, oats, okay, tea, to replace coffee, and just get really centered. Okay, now going into the second week, we're going to be focusing on mindfulness. So if you want to join in on that, go ahead and do so. If you did not start your first week off with your fast, include that in your mindfulness week. So in the mindfulness week, you're meditating, and I encourage you to meditate on your intentions for the year. So if you're looking at financial health, emotional health, physical health, whatever your meditation is on, that's something that you should be focused on. And I'm sorry, yeah, second week is meditation. Third week is physical, so yoga or physical fitness. Okay, working on your physique. Okay, and just taking care of yourself in that way. Don't strain yourself. Don't try to lose 50 pounds in a in a week. That's impossible. Okay, for some people it might be possible, but for most of us it's not. I don't need to lose any weight. I need to gain weight, but most of all, I need to strengthen. So that will be my focus as well. And then in that fourth week, we're going to be focused on taking in information or reading material that has something to do with your intention for the year. Okay. And some of us have multiple intentions, but whatever it might be, try to take in that information and then be proactive. Create something. If it's your vision board, some of us have a head start on that. So a lot of people do some of these rituals first week, okay, all in one. But I broke it out into four. Why? Because I have people who are joining me, and they say it's about 21 days to make a shift. So if you start off slowly in introducing, so you have beginners, you have intermediate, and then you have advanced. So if you start off introducing these lifestyle changes by the time you get to week four, so what you should be doing is week one, you're making dietary changes, right? You may be on a full fast, you may be on a until sundown fast, whatever, but you're making dietary changes. And so when you're doing that, you incorporate that into your second week of mindfulness. Okay. Now you can have that piece of chicken that you want. I still suggest stay away from red meat, but whatever. It's free will. Do what you feel comfortable with. And then in that third week, when you're doing your physical fitness, you're now incorporating those dietary changes and that mindfulness, and then now you're into fitness, right? Or yoga. And then by the fourth week, you've incorporated the first 3 weeks, and now you're taking in this material. So by the time you move into February, you have now made a lifestyle change. Okay. So that's what I'm on. And I'm boring, baby. All I do is sit around and commune with God. Okay. Um, so that's where we should be at right now if you have been following me on my social media. If not, now you have that information and you can join in. Okay. And do it at your own pace. Like I said, many people have a lot of these rituals that they already incorporate in their first week of the new year. So just join in wherever you're at. Okay. All right. So I have my notebook here. I don't have a lot of notes. I'm trying. Here we go. So, for those of you who do not know, Mercury in retrograde is coming on the 30th of January. Empaths and energy readers oftentimes fall into the energy of the planetary alignments before ahead of others, and I can tell because I have been stumbling really hard on my words. Okay, it's been hard for me to articulate, so even though this is my first um time back, I feel like I'm going to stumble quite a bit here, so bear with me. Try not to let it distract you from the message. I'll try to deliver it as best I can. Okay. So spiritual transformation journey, our first subject, our first topic of the year is distractions. And it's not crazy to me anymore. I mean, I still get shocked by a lot of the things that the divine kind of gives to me or that I receive in advance. But I had set I started doing my planning for the year of the channel, what that was going to look like about 3 months ago. Okay. And just started jotting down some ideas because I'm working on the book and the book is almost to completion. It's just in the end stages here. And so I needed to step away from this part of it because it was a distraction. But not just a distraction. It was just, I need to focus when I'm writing. And I think in the last video, if you caught that, the last episode, I spoke about how I'm a better writer than I am, an influencer or whatever this would be considered here. So I needed to withdraw myself in order to focus on, put my energy into my book wholeheartedly, and hopefully produce a product that you all are going to be interested in purchasing. Okay. That is due out on February 21st. I'm hoping that there's no technical issues and loading and all of that and getting it all set up. But there will be more information by the next time we meet here on Spiritual Transformation Journey, as well as if you tune into the general messages. I'll definitely be divulging that information there. Okay. So getting business out the way, let's talk about distractions. What I was trying to get to is that I set up, a couple of topics that I wanted to touch on just coming back out here. And distractions was like right away. Why? Because I had found myself struggling with distractions. Okay. And so I was like, let me talk about that. I haven't completely evolved, but I'm in a place where I can share my journey with you. And hopefully, if you're in the same place, it will be helpful and beneficial for you. Okay. That's what I'm here for. So it's ironic. Okay. That's what I'll say is that, just last week, there was a huge distraction to the collective. Okay. And I say to the spirit, that's funny. Okay. Because I had come up with this topic 3 months ago, but here, right before I'm getting ready to come out and discuss it, there's a major distraction to the entire collective. And we all know what I'm talking about. The most recent event in the news where we had some folks go and storm the Capitol. Okay. And I will say to the Black community specifically that I seen, like, I was at work minding my own business. It was, again, not funny, but ironic that I was sitting in the Lotus, okay, and meditating. Like, I try not to be me all the time at work, but it's who I am. So, and I know people were looking around like, what is she doing? But I was sitting at the office and I had my meditation music on. And sometimes I just play it for just a little bit just to get my day started while I'm there because I've already meditated before I even arrived. But other times, Spirit calls me to meditate where you are right now. Okay. For the traditionalists, it would be stop and pray. Okay. So I put my meditation music on and I was in the Lotus and I was in that stance for about 3 hours. And it was 10:10 when one of my coworkers turned on her music and it just started like clashing. So oftentimes my meditation music can kind of play in the background and I won't even hear what's going on around me. But her music was starting to clash with my meditation music, and I looked at the clock and it was 10:10, and I said, okay, I can end meditation now. But there was something that was just like, you need to meditate today, okay, prior to all of that. So I turned the music off and I continue with my day and I finish up, and I actually left early for the day. So once I left, I got in the car, and of course I immediately checked my social media and I see all the chaos and confusion going on. I didn't know what was going on because I see the majority of the Black community talking about if this was us. Okay. So I was like, what's going on if this was us? What happened? Like, what did I miss? Is there a community event happening and something happened to somebody? Like, I didn't know what was happening. So I continued to scroll even before I started my vehicle up to go home, and I see what's actually going on in the world. And immediately I was like, okay, so this is what all of this has been about. So for about a week prior, okay, I had been having some trouble sleeping, and I just equated it to the fact that not trouble sleeping, but I was waking up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, okay. And for those of us who are connected to spirit, we know that that means that the spirit is trying to get your attention, and it's time to pray, meditate, get in alignment, tap in. There's something that spirit wants to speak to you when you're woken out of your sleep at those early mornings. So, and I haven't had that issue in a long time. So I was like, what is going on? I started praying for my family, friends, and all of that. But I wasn't really, stressed or worried about anything. It just felt like some trouble in the spirit, is what I felt. So, fast forward. And when I see this event going on and I see all of this commentary about, if this was us, it just immediately made me feel in my spirit, like energetically, like don't give this any energy. Like, don't supply this. Don't feed this, because this is a distraction. Okay. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but immediately when I seen it, I was like, this is a distraction. Okay. In the physical realm, this is a distraction. This is just meant to like put some type of illusion over something. Still haven't figured that out yet, but it wasn't for me to get myself excited about. Then deeper spirit started to like pull at me and say, I need you to speak to the collective and tell them, don't give this any energy. This is the work of the enemy. Okay. So I try to like go about it in a light way when I get a very deep message from spirit. I try to deliver it in a way where everyone can receive it. I know that the enlightened beings are gonna hear the message, see the message, and understand exactly what I'm trying to say. But the unenlightened or the traditionalists are going to sometimes it can go right over their heads if you try to deliver it so awakened. Okay. So in order for me to try to grasp the collective and kind of reset, I just kind of spoke in terms of, don't give this any energy. Okay. I just kind of said it plain and simple. But it was so, the spirit was like, please tell them, don't give this any energy. This is the work of the enemy. Okay. So that's going to lead us into our topics here. Distractions. Let's just get into it. Media, all right? And that's all forms and all platforms. Social media, okay? Media, the news, television in its entirety, your phone, okay? So let's talk about what we can do about these distractions, especially if you're on an enlightened journey. I'm going to go back and talk about, I think when I get down into people, I'll talk about an experience that I had, okay? This was on last year, and it was in terms of people, but I could have immersed myself in complete distraction, and sophisticated intuition would have been on delay. I won't say that it wouldn't have come into fruition, but it definitely would have been on delay because of the circumstances and all the chaos that was that was surrounding it. I've been talking all day, guys. I did the general messages earlier, so I know my voice is going to be cracked. But bear with me here. So media, social media. Social media has, I watched that documentary and how it talks about basically Big Brother watching, okay, and managing your algorithm so that there's a continuous feed of the things that you want to see. Okay, so every time you refresh, you're going to see new, or at least it's going to feel that way, new content of something that you want to see, something that you're buying into. Okay, so being mindful of that, it's a suggestion and exercise that you reduce or eliminate your energy into social media. Okay, so by what can you do to do that? Deactivate. That's number one. Okay, so what I learned on last year when I deactivated my account is that by having the barrier of having to physically log back in deterred me from wanting to actually be on social media in the first place. Okay, I found it very freeing, okay, to deactivate my account. Second to that is the big leap of uninstalling the application. Okay, I will highly recommend that you reset your password and write it down somewhere where you remember where you put it, because if you uninstall the app, you're probably going to have to go in and log in officially. So you want to make sure that you have that information if you decide to return to the application. So whatever that is for you, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, okay, whatever that is for you. If you uninstall the app, again, that is building a barrier for you to have to break through in order to go back into that realm, okay, or into that distraction. But social media it has been a gift and a curse, right? Because it allows us to connect with our loved ones. And in this time, that has been a gift, okay, because many of us have not been able to physically be with our loved ones. Now, I do want to say that Spirit did give me the guidance here for us as a collective that we need to make more time to physically connect with our loved ones, okay? Why is that? Because without the physical connection, we are increasing our death rate, okay, and shortening our life expansion, okay. So why do I say that? So I'm gonna go down a long example or explanation here. In my workplace, it's highly encouraged and voluntold to put in suggestive ideas that could offer opportunities for improvement for the entire organization, or just something simple like we want tacos every day. Okay, whatever. That has been my idea for like the last 9 years. They still haven't put tacos on the grill every day. Distraction. Okay, stay focused. So but it's encouraged to put in some type of idea that can make things better for everyone involved. So my idea most recently that I put in is because of the restrictions that we have. Visitors are not allowed in, and we have gift shops that are closed. So because we can't, in order for the precautions to be in place and to protect everyone's safety and well-being, it's not ideal to have people just perusing the gift shop and then going up to, visit their family and loved ones, their ill loved ones. So, and furthermore, there's no visitors allowed, completely cold black here. So there's no one can enter unless you have business. Okay. So I put in a suggestion that we reopen those gift shops online, okay, make it an online platform. And I added to that, there's numerous studies that suggest that healing can be encouraged by the connection or hearing or having your family member nearby. Well, with the restrictions in place, at least if you could go online and send a gift to your loved one, they're still going to feel that love and that connection. Okay. It's still not the physical, but if you send them a bear and it's from you, then they're going to feel that, and it's going to encourage their healing to their healing process. Okay. I won't say speed it up. That's, that's subjective, but it will definitely encourage the healing to have that physical touch, to know that someone cared, rather than to, once you go behind those doors, you have no idea if they're going to come back. So, and been dealing with that fear and that anxiety of that uncertainty alone can, you know, suppress your healing. Okay. So that was my suggestion, right? And so why am I talking about that amongst distractions? Because we need to remember to connect physically. Okay. And it's so funny because I'm going to kind of contradict myself as I get down into the people, but it's important to know that there's a spirit, or there's a message here from spirit, that we need to reconnect physically with people. Okay. In order for our legacies and the longevity of our lifespan, to continue. Okay. And so I just need to share that with you about reconnecting with your people. So if grandma lives in Washington and you haven't seen grandma in 2-3 years, okay, and you're saying to yourself, I want to protect grandma from the virus, I don't want to be traveling and then coming to see grandma, um you're going to want to you're going to want to find a workaround for that, because grandma needs to see you. Grandma needs to physically feel you. There's something to that is going to trigger her to live a little bit longer. Okay. So I'm going to leave that right there, and we're going to move forward, because that's just something that needed to come out. And so I'm sharing it here on this platform. But social media, deactivate, uninstall, whatever. Let it have some time. Okay. Moving on to television media. Okay. So I was going over on how I'm going to articulate this or express this to you all, because television is programming. Okay. And so it's been 3 years that I decided to remove the television from my bedroom. Best idea I ever had. Okay. So, but it's been a total of 5 years where I kind of removed myself from television. It was just a, what do you call that? Weaning off. Okay. So I was like a total couch potato when it came to television. I would sit and watch programs for hours. Okay. And at night, it kept me company. So I would leave the television on at night. But then I came into an awareness that I was agitated. I wasn't sleeping well. Furthermore, having the TV on is hot. It's hot. Turn it off. Okay. So turn off the television at night, number one. But if you can, take the whole thing out of your bedroom. Okay. Have no TV. Why am I saying that? Because the media in general is a complete distraction. It's, what are we seeing on television? Okay. Sex, addiction, violence. Okay. These are the things that are being fed to you. And if you're watching the news, I have not watched a news like Fox 10 Live at 5. I haven't watched the news in probably 4 years. I want to say 3.5 maybe, because it kind of went hand in hand with removing the television out of the room. But I see, stories that trend on social media when I'm there, but I haven't sat and watched the news in about 3.5 years, 3.5 to 4 years. Okay. Because I call it bad news. Okay. You get so agitated and anxious and sad, and and now I am an empath, so it's going to definitely affect me a little bit differently for those who are not. But watching that was just like, it was destructive. So when I think about biblical scripture, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. What do we see on television? Killing, stealing, and destroying. Okay. So turn the television off. Okay. I got to a point where it doesn't even interest me. Like, people at work will be talking about a program that's on Netflix, and like, we got to watch it. Now, don't get me wrong. I have what's called mindless activity days. So when I do that, it's not always a Netflix binge, but sometimes it's incorporated in that. So I will just sit and watch, find a show or find a movie or two and just sit and watch those. But I have no interest in watching television anymore. Like zero. I don't want to see the latest reality show. I'm not I'm not interested. Because I just found it to be such a distraction. Okay. And by eliminating media, TV, okay, I was able to get focused and get centered on what my purpose in life is. Okay. So the phone, the phone is a distraction. I call it the brain. It's everything, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand with our social media because that's where we access those applications at. But you pick up that phone probably every 5 to 20 minutes to look at a text message. You get an alert about what the NFL, get an alert about news, weather, whatever, random stuff. Your friends and family are reaching out to you. Some of you are probably your phone's not as dry as mine. So people call you, okay? People text you. So you probably get, a lot is ringing all the time, right? And you could be trying to read a book. You could be trying to create something, and your phone is constantly going off. And in the society that we're in now, we feel like we have to pick that phone up and retrieve that message or that alert, simply to just clear away the icon, right? So I highly suggest that if you can, and everyone can't, I'm not able to shut my phone off at night because I have adult children that live outside of the home. So I need to be available in case there's any emergency. So I do leave my phone on. I do put it on a lower ring. I don't put it on vibrate because when I'm asleep, I'm asleep. No distractions. So I put it on a lower ring so I can actually hear it. Okay. But if you have the ability to, I do recommend that you shut your phone off. Okay, if everyone is that you need to be concerned about is home and safe, shut your phone off. Okay, um, this is probably really morbid, but I had someone. Uh, there was a meme or something going on about like people who really don't care about anybody, um, or don't care about anything if they turn their phones off. And there were some comments there that said something about, well, if they died, then they'll be dead in the morning. Okay, that's just, I know, people, I know that's not even me, but I did, that was very true. That was very true. If there's if there when it boils down to it, if there's nothing you can do about it in the middle of the night, turn your phone off. Okay, if you know that you're not gonna get up and go do anything about it, just turn your phone off because it's a distraction. Okay. Now, furthermore, going back into this and going back to what happened just on last week, what we don't realize sometimes when we're taking in this media is the energy that is or not even the energy, the entity that is providing the information. Okay. So this is something to really take into consideration. Yes, there are enlightened beings in the that are newscasters. Okay, if you are not able to read auras or energetically pick up on their energy, then you may not you may not have the slightest idea. Okay, there are just simply traditional Christians who are devout. Okay, and you may not see that because they're doing their job, but there is also beings who are of lower vibration, who are filling you with this information. Okay. And that's why it's so important for you to guard yourself energetically from this media that is such a distraction. Okay. Because oftentimes you just see it with the human eye instead of your third eye, and you don't realize that it is intently to distract you. Okay. So I do highly, strongly recommend that you close out your applications and take some time off. Okay. Hold on, guys. My eye itching. This is what happens to me spiritually when I'm speaking truth. Okay. I've learned that. So I apologize. I apologize for that. Like I said, I'm a better writer than I am whatever this is. So it's not going to be perfect. I might have to itch my eye during it. Okay. But just take that into consideration. This beautiful face that you see on the screen, okay, could be um not of the highest of vibrations, and could be delivering you information that is not beneficial to you, that is causing you anxiety and sleepless nights. You could be having the best life ever. Bills paid, money in the bank, kids and family happy and healthy, and you can't figure out why you can't sleep, while you are tossing and turning, while the spirit is waking you up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Did you consider that maybe it was the newscaster delivering to you that killing, stealing, and destroying right before you went to bed? Turn the TV off. Take it out of your room. Uninstall the apps. Deactivate, okay? Especially if you are trying to accomplish something in the spirit realm or on your spiritual journey, then you're going to have to remove yourself from these devices, okay? All right, now let's move on to people. So this is where I said I'm going to contradict myself, because earlier I'm like, we need to connect. We need to physically connect with people, okay? Because it's affecting us to be apart from each other, in terms of our longevity, in terms of our legacy, right? In terms of our life expansion, or what am I trying to say? I'm messing that up. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. We want to live longer, and physical connection has a whole lot to do with that. Now, moving forward, people. Now, this is going to be specifically to, or talking about people who are like naysayers, or so if you are trying to create something, or better yet, you're trying to take your spirituality to the next level, you're going to come across people who are going to be like, oh, you woke. Something to that effect, okay? You're going to come across people who are going to not believe you. I call them the non-believers, okay? Not non-believing in the divine, or any of that. Non-believers, when you say to them, you know what, I think I'm gonna stop hanging out on Saturday nights. I'm gonna just get focused. I'm gonna start doing some reading. There's some stuff that I really want to learn about, so I want to get focused. So I'm gonna cut Saturday nights out, because now I'm gonna dedicate Saturday to that. And your best friend, okay, because it's usually the person that's closest to you who's not ready yet to make that change, okay, or better yet, even lose you too, okay. And I'm guilty of this. I've been the best friend who was the distraction, okay, who was like, girl, that's cute, okay, so next Saturday I'm gonna come get you. Distraction, okay. Then you have people who are, did I say the naysayers? Who just don't have, who everything that you say is like, they counter it with something negative. Okay. These are the people that you're going to have to eliminate, or cut away, or at least take some time away from them, because they are not encouraging your growth. Okay. They're discouraging it. Okay. And especially when it's people that you love and care about, that's going to be a difficult task for you to do, because as light workers, as energetic, enlightened beings, our purpose here is to bring the collective together. But sometimes you have to separate yourself from people in order to come back together. Okay. Co-workers. Okay. So here's where I'm going to get into an example here of distractions. Okay. Of my own personal experience, what's going on with me, probably I would say right now, but just in the last week or so, I'm finding my way. Okay. So I went back to an old position that I once had. Okay. because for me, it allows me to do this. Okay. It allows me more time and availability to do the general messages, to meet with my personal clients, to work on the book, to work on the channel. It allows me to put my efforts and my energies into what will soon be my financial independence. And again, I don't do this for fame or fortune, but I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. So at some point, that 9 to 5 will no longer. Okay. I don't know when that's going to be, but I know that it's coming soon. Okay. Now, I say all of that to say that I went back to an old position, and I have very close connections with my coworkers. Okay. None of them left. I've worked with them for probably the last 5 or 6 years. I was only away for about maybe 8, 9 months or so. No, longer than that. I think it's been a year. I think it has been a whole year. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was away from them for a year. And in a year's time, see, I kept my spirituality outside of the workplace because at that time, I was really nothing more. Now, I shouldn't say that. I was, but I hadn't taken into awareness of who I was. Okay. So I would think of, just another member in the pew. Okay. So it wasn't something to be announced. It wasn't something that needed to be acknowledged because I was still doing inner work. Okay. Now in that year's time, again, this journey I've been on has been about 3 years, but in a year's time, I came into the full awareness that I am a high priestess. And for those of you who like struggle to understand what that is and haven't done your research, there's so much to it that I can't get into this message, but I believe that it will be one of the topics for this year. It's just not today's topic. There's so much into that, but to kind of explain it to a traditionalist or to those who like just need a better understanding. What does that mean when you say you're a high priestess? Well, we know that the high priestess is kind of related to the cards, right, that I work with. But it would be equated to a pastor or a priest here in the traditional physical realm. Okay. But it's just more on a spiritual path, and it is definitely non-traditional. Okay. So now that I'm in a full awareness of that and understand that that is who I am, and I can't turn it off. It's not something I can turn off. So going into the workplace, returning to people who may have heard word of mouth, but I had not actually told, their expectation of me was old me. Well, old me is dead and gone. I don't even know that girl anymore. Okay. So they have, I mentioned to a few, I have the business, and you always find like one or two enlightened beings that know exactly what you're talking about. So I mentioned the practice to a few. I didn't like go all in and explain everything. I just mentioned it to a few. And one of the girls said, "Oh, that's good that you have your side business." Distraction. I didn't correct her in the moment, but I did get an opportunity to do so because this is not a side business. This is the business. Okay. My employer, as much as I still have a passion there, and I'm still invested there. This is my passion. Okay. So my employer, my 9 to 5 is essentially funding. It's the backing for this. Okay. So, but I found when I heard her say that, I was like, how discouraging would that be to someone who was unevolved? Side business, when you have the intention for this to be the business, right? So remember to kind of not, I don't want to say, how do I say it's ignore. Okay. Ignore them. Okay. So that's just another distraction trying to delay you from your path. Okay. Whatever that might be. You You can get in your own way. You can be a distraction. You can get lazy. you can get, you know, I don't know if that's a word, unfocused. Okay. While I was working on the book, I became a distraction to myself. Okay. As much as I withdraw from this part of the practice, I was on a summer, is what I've been calling it. I was on a summer, right? I have evolved. I've taken in great enlightenment. Okay. And furthermore, I shared it with the collective. Okay. So I went on a summer. Okay. I started taking trips and enjoying life a little bit. Okay, just to kind of wind down from the year. Okay, but I ran into writer's block, severe writer's block. Essentially, the book Opening of the Way, a High Priestess Perspective, is in a I want to say a high overview, but a more in-depth of everything that I've shared with you here on the channel. Okay, so it's more in depth, and there's more about, details in life. Okay, things that I've gone through in life that kind of led me to the journey. Okay, so there's gonna be, it's good, guys, pick it up. Opening of the Way, a High Priestess Perspective. But anyways, I ran into a roadblock because I was just enjoying life. Okay, relaxing. Okay, I did my work for 2020. Okay, I'm get ready to go into 2021. I'll work on that when I get there. Okay, so that meant for me, and I think that block hit me for a good 2 months, and I really want to meet my deadline. So it was imperative that I get focused, that I get centered, that I stop going to my friend's house, that I stop, that I put a limit and boundaries on the personal guidance messages, that I make the time, right? So remember to make the time for your spiritual growth, okay? There's a gospel song that my pastor sings, and it's you gotta take the time out to praise the Lord. Yeah, so I love that song when he sings it. I really love that song. And it's just a reminder that you have to make time for God. You got to make time for the divine. You got to sometimes you got to set your clock. Okay, just like you set your alarm clock to get up for work, set your alarm clock to get up and praise. Set your alarm clock to get up and meditate. Set your alarm clock to get up and worship, whatever. But make that time, okay? It's imperative to do that. Okay. I dedicate my Saturdays are supposed to be sacred Saturdays where I dedicate myself to Bible studies and ancient studies. So, I still follow, I don't want to say follow. It is the principles of Christianity that I have incorporated into my spirituality. Okay. It is the 5 faiths that are incorporated into my spirituality for those of you who don't know. So I still do biblical studies, but I also study some of the other ancient information. I take in a lot of stuff about Buddhism. Okay. The Asian culture, I think, has really resonated for me in terms of spirituality, as well as there's bits and pieces of Islam, okay, that I really resonate with, but not fully, probably because I'm just such a modern woman. But there's bits and pieces, and then definitely our Egyptian culture and African traditions. Okay, so all of that is, I'm a melting pot of spirituality, okay, I guess you would say. And some, especially traditionalists, might say, you're confused. No, I'm not confused. I'm very well understanding what it is I done got myself into, okay? And it's not for everybody. Everyone who's on the spiritual journey is not going to follow the principles of all 5 faiths, okay? Some are going to find just a spiritual path, and Buddhism or Hinduism or whatever. You're going to follow that, and that's going to be it. Okay. But for the work that I do believe that that's why the divine has kind of allowed me to study, gain my full understanding. And it's about divine oneness. If you read about any of those, if you research, because I didn't just read, I studied took my notes, okay? Wanted to gain true enlightenment on each of the five faiths, okay? And when I did that, I found that it was the same exact story, just different timelines and a few different names. Okay. So anyways, don't be your own distraction. Don't get in your way. Don't get in your own way, okay? Make time to do that studying, to get your knowledge, to get your understanding, okay? So I want to close out here with a scripture. For if meat causes my brother to stumble, I will eat no flesh forevermore, that I cause not my brother to stumble. That's for 1 Corinthians 8 and 13 for the reference, okay? So what it says is that when I'm thinking in terms of distraction, is that we need to be aware that we also can be a distraction to others, okay? And to take into account, okay? So this scripture is speaking about meat, but it could be alcohol. It could be anything of overindulgence, okay? And it just takes me right back to that social media, because that is one of the biggest addictions that the entire universe is suffering from, okay? And so as a collective, the energy that you put into something is going to be produced worldwide, okay? So if 3 of us deactivate or uninstall the applications, if 3 of us remove our televisions, we are setting examples, okay? If 3 of us do not respond or entertain the lower vibrational information that is clearly sent to be a distraction, then the rest will follow suit, okay? Even by putting out my post to kind of encourage people not to focus on what was going on was me giving it energy. Had I stayed quiet, then perhaps there would have been more to follow suit, okay? So, and when I think about the pandemic, the fear and the anxiety and the worry, and even people making jokes about the outcome, okay, or what's to come, okay, is giving an energy. It's a distraction. Shut down the media, okay? Shut it down. And I'm not saying long term, but do yourself a service and remove the distractions from your life. And watch how quiet, okay, it gets, and where you can hear. A quote comes to mind. It's Lao Tzu, okay? To the mind that is quiet, the entire universe will surrender. Okay? Let that marinate, okay? All right. So that's my message on distractions. Chime in, give me your thoughts, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Love and light.